Yo, check out what I got on the screen. I got Philadelphia. Hey, Philadelphia, what's up? Okay, so this one's going to be for you. Okay, so what we did was that we had to put together a keyword show for some keyword flow because we were watching on the screen on the YouTube. We saw that the Philadelphia mayor was going on there going blah, 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 executive order, blah, 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 guns are bad, right? Right, so then we were like, oh, okay, it sounds like we have to do, what we do. And what we do now is we just show the word, man, right? So we're going to show the word. We're going to drop the words to the people of Philadelphia, right? Which all of these words just apply to the people of the world, right? This is God's kingdom. Remember that, right? God created the world. Done. Okay, so we got this little city scape up here because this is where the people of Philadelphia live, right? So if you're from Philly, cool city, man. So check this out. Here we go. So we're gonna drop some knowledge, right? We're gonna drop some knowledge and we're gonna show you guys what's up. Really scary simple, right? And we're gonna do it because we're just gonna show you the game, man. Right? The game is so easy. Once you understand that the word is the word, right? You're gonna be free. Seriously, you're gonna be free. Okay. So let's go ahead and knock out some foundation, right? So you always got to show you what's up with the foundation, right? So we start with Genesis, so you can see who you are and what you are, right? So all men, all women, all children, this is where you come from. Scary simple, right? If you if you wanted to do your genealogy, it's going to show you that you come from God. Remember that. Scary simple, right? So check this out. And God said, let us make man in our image. Done. Okay, so if you ever want to map out and see, well, where do I come from? Who do I come from? Who is my creator? God is your creator. Simple, right? And after our likeness, let me keep it going. After our likeness, and let them, meaning man, woman, child, have dominion over all the earth. Okay, that's it, right? So God created man, and then God told man, you guys got dominion over everything, right? You got to be the boss over everything. Okay, that's simple. Okay, let's keep it going, right? Let's go ahead and knock out another foundation, right? So when you want to know what the law is stupid simple. It's so easy. Check this out. This is what Jesus said about the law. So a lawyer, was going blah, blah, blah. What's the great commandment in the law, right? So then Jesus had to tell him what's up. Scary simple, right? Look at this is what he said. Jesus said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. Done. Okay. This is the first and great commandment. Okay. Got it. Good. Let's keep going. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Oh, okay. And on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. So all law is always going to trace back to love. And if you love everything like you love God, and if you love God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, you're going to be cool, man. And then you can go out there and you can protect the law, right? So if you ever get presented, so if a lawyer ever tries to present themselves and say, well, what's the law? You just point out love. Love is the law, man. If you don't understand that, here, let me sit you down and we're going to explain it to you like a good little child. Okay. All right. Let's keep it going. So here goes Luke 11:52, right? We like this one because it shows you what's up, right? Another foundation one. Woe unto you lawyers, right? Remember that. For ye have taken away the key of knowledge. What? Okay, so we're always saying woe unto you lawyers because you've taken away the key of knowledge, right? Lawyers have taken away the key of knowledge because lawyers bring confusion, lawyers bring conflict, right? So when you want to know what the simplicity is of the law, which is love, right? And then the lawyer says, blah, 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 code, blah, 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 statute, blah, 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 ordinance. You got to follow it. No way, bro. Because if it doesn't go back to love, then we don't go. We don't show. We don't flow. Right? It's scary simple because that's what Christ told us what to do, man. All right, so let's check this out right here. Right here goes another foundation word, right? Remember this, right? Fiduciary. Fiduciary means to trust, confide, persuade, whatever, right? So when you have a fiduciary, you have the trust, right? And when you trust, that means you're solid and that means you're firm, right? So we have a fiduciary obligation to protect God's kingdom, to protect the dominion. The body is one of the properties of God. Therefore, we have a responsibility. We have the trust to protect it, man. And this is what we do. And we protect it by showing you the words, man. Scary simple, right? Let's keep it going. Hey, God's people, what's up? Okay, so we're going to do this flow and we're going to do this show one for you. Okay, so God's people, check it out. Once you hear these words, you're going to know that you have a duty and an obligation to administer, right? You have a fiduciary responsibility to administer God's kingdom and therefore all of God's creation and then therefore all of our public servants, okay? An example of a public servant will be this one right here, right? A lawyer, right? A lawyer is a public servant, right? And we must administer all of our lawyers because we got to show them what's up. Okay, ready? Here we go. All right, so we got to do our timeout. Right, remember this. This is the order of God's realm. So before we take off, we got to do the timeout. Ready? Here we go. Order. God created the world. Check. God created man, aka the people. Check. People created states. Check. People created constitutions. Check. People created governments. Check. Question. When did government become boss of the people? Okay, so let's go ahead and show you some words and we're going to show you what's up, all right? So the way that we the way that we do that is that we use the grand jury, which is the great word, right? And then it has a function. So the grand jury is a tool, right? And this is what the function of the tool is. Its function is to investigate the operations of the various officers, departments, and agencies of local government, right? So as grand jury, we have to take our eyes and our senses and our mind and we must look at how they operate, right? And if it doesn't fit together, then that means we have to correct them. We have to put it in a straight line. We got to dress them down, man. And that's all we do. And that's what we do with the grand jury. Remember that, people? That's all we do. Okay, so here we go. Here's a maxim. This is another foundation, right? This is another foundation, a fundamental foundation, one of the principles of law. We like 11 because 11 shows authority, 11 shows power, 11 shows servant, 11 shows jurisdiction, right? So look at 11A. It's really easy. Remember this. A delegated power cannot be again delegated. Okay, done. A deputy cannot have or appoint a deputy. Okay, done. So remember, delegated power, those are all of our public servants, right? All of our public servants is everything that falls under the Constitution. So whatever it is that man, woman, child, whatever we create, that's called delegated power, right? And then if we give them certain duties and obligations, they cannot again then delegate that to another entity called a deputy. If they do that, we're going to sit them in timeout and say, bad, small master, you're so bad. Go sit in timeout. We're going to instruct you. We're going to show you the word that we call them, right? We call them maladministers, right? Because if they are in maladministration, that means bad small master, right? Because if they do things in a faulty or an improper management of the affairs of the people, then we're going to say, you're in maladministration. You're bad, right? You're bad and you're a bad small master. Go sit in a corner and we have to instruct you, okay? Scary simple. All right, so here goes another word, right? We always look for treason. Right, so when we're with the grand jury and we're using the tool of grand jury, we look for maladministration, we look for treason. And treason just means to deliver the trust, right? So if they deliver the trust or if they hand over the trust to someone else, another entity that we didn't give them ability or power to do, then we say treason, right? And then we go sit them in the corner and then we show them how they're a maladministration. Scary simple, right? Here's another thing we look for as grand jury. We look for war, right? And we look for the simplicity of war. We look for war when it causes confusion. We look for war when it mixes things up, right? So if they use words and then they call the people outside of what they are and they try to pull the people into a different jurisdiction by confusing the words or mixing up the words, we say, that's war. We say you're causing confusion. We say that's treason. We say that's maladministration. We sit you in the corner. We say you're on timeout. And then we have to instruct you every time. Every time. It's really easy now, man, because we just show you the words, man. Scary simple, right? Okay, so here we go. So we're hanging out in Pennsylvania, man. What's up, Pennsylvania? Right. So we're going to show you what's up with the Pennsylvania Constitution, right? Because we're going to show you the hierarchy, the order. It's really easy. It's so simple. So check it out. Right. So before we walk, we always show the preamble, and then the preamble is really easy because it shows you the hierarchy, right? Check it out. We, the people of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, grateful to Almighty God. Hey God, what's up for the shine? Thank you. Right, for the blessings of civil and religious liberty, and humbly invoking his guidance, do ordain and establish this Constitution. So the people get their ability and they get their power from God, right? And then the people create constitutions, right? And then the constitutions are what we give our little public servants the ability to administer, right? So they have to follow all of the rules within the constitutions that the people created, right? Because the people were created by God, right? So God created the people, and then the people created constitutions, and then the constitutions create a whole realm for our little public servants to play in. It's really simple, right? All right, let's keep it going. So here goes Article 1 of the Pennsylvania Constitution, right? So we're focusing on this one because we're keeping it scary simple, right? We're keeping it scary simple. So check it out. First, you have to look at what the Section 1 says. The inherent rights of mankind, right? All men are born equally free and independent. Remember that. And have certain inherent and indefeasible rights, among which are those of enjoying and defending life and liberty, of acquiring, possessing, and protecting property and reputation, and of pursuing their own happiness, right? So right here, it's showing you who the boss is, right? The people are the bosses of all constitutions. Remember that, right? So we're going to scroll down to another section in here because we want to show you another one, right? Because we were watching our public servant go, blah, 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 guns, blah, blah, blah. They have no right, right? It's just like, oh my God, where do our public servants learn their laws from, right? I don't believe they ever read the Constitution, right? So check this out right here. This is for Pennsylvania Constitution, Article 1, right? Text of Section 21, right? Here's what it says. The right to bear arms. Remember that. The right of the citizens to bear arms in defense of themselves and the state shall not be questioned, right? So, if our public servants are going out there talking about blah, 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 you can't have, blah, 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 we're going to ban them. You can't do that, bro. You can't do that because, we're showing you what's up. We wrote it in the Constitution. Our forefathers wrote it in the Constitution because, they knew that people like you were going to come up, and then we knew that we were going to have to deal with adversaries, and then we had to make the rules, so then that way we would bind you to the rules, man. It's really simple. Remember, we know it's right here. Boom. You can't mess with it at all. Period. The end. Okay. All right. So let me show you something else, right? We like pictures because pictures are simple. They're worth 1,000 words, right? So we like to show you the order of the realm in picture form. So if you always look up top right here, right, so God created the whole world, right? And then God created man, woman, child, the people, right? And then the people created constitutions, and then the constitutions created governments, right? And then the governments created realms where our businesses and our corporations can play in to make sure that the people are kept safe, right? So as long as the people are feeling safe, happy, and free, right, within the realms that we created, right, because God created man, right, and then the people created the constitutions, and then the constitutions created government, and then, within there, all of the jurisdictions the people are the boss of, right? Remember that, right? So, everything else down here, right? Corporations, businesses, agencies, parks and recreations, whatever it is that you want to think about, the people are in charge of all of that stuff, right? So not the ones that make the law. They're not in charge of it. They have to administer it. Not the ones that execute the laws. They're not in charge of it. They just have to administer it. Not the ones who judge the laws. They're not in charge of it. They just administer it, right? So if they don't follow the rules of the Constitution, then we say, bad, small master, go sit in a corner. We have to show you guys what's up, right? Because you guys are committing maladministration. You guys are committing treason. You guys are committing war if you deprive the people of any of their rights, okay? So you can't take away things from the people by calling the people something else and then taking away their ability to be free, okay? Remember that, okay, public servant? All right, so let's keep it going. Right, what's up, Philly? Okay, so this is the city of Philadelphia, right? So what we did was we had to get the organizational chart. It's really simple, right? Because we wanted to show you, right? We saw on the screen one of our public servants was going, blah, 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 no more guns, right? And we were like, oh my gosh, this man doesn't know what's up, right? So the mayor is right here, right? So above the mayor is we the people, right? So the people created the whole entity that the mayor can plan, right? So the mayor gets the ability to administer the city of Philadelphia from we the people. the mayor is not the boss of the people are the boss of the mayors, right? And then the people tell the mayors what's up, right? And then the mayors have to tell all of their little entities down here that they're in charge of, parks and recreations and things like that, that they have to do what the people say that they have to do, right? So you cannot interfere with any of the people's rights by writing executive orders and things like that. Remember that, Mr. Mayor. You are a servant, okay? Scary simple. All right, let's keep it going. Right, so this is what set us off right here, right, is like I said, we were checking out the city of Philadelphia, right, and this is what the mayor was trying to do. The mayor, which is a public servant, right, expected to sign an executive order banning guns from Philadelphia parks and facilities, okay? Right, so this man doesn't understand the law, right? He doesn't know what it is that he's doing. I don't know why. I don't know who's instructing him. I don't know where he's getting his knowledge from. It may be a lawyer who be telling him some things, right? But he doesn't know what the order of the realm is. He doesn't know who's the boss, right? He doesn't know that we, the people, are the bosses of all governments because we wrote the constitutions, right? And then we have to administer all of the constitutions and make sure that our public servants do what they're supposed to be doing, right? So when they try to write an executive order, which is no law, it's just an order, right? Banning guns, right? A gun is what they call an arm, right? So they're trying to trick the people by calling their arms guns, right? So when they try to trick the people and call their arms guns, that's called treason, right? That's called war. That's called maladministration, right? So here's a real-time example. This just happened 5 hours ago. Does it show the date, right? Well, today is 9/27/2022, right? It's 1:15 a.m., right? So this says 5 hours ago, right? So the mayor went onto the TV screen or on the screen and he was going blah, 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 executive order, we're going to ban guns, right? So this man went on the screen and he was committing maladministration. He was committing treason. He was committing war, and it's all in video form, right? You hear them with their own words going blah, blah, blah. They should not be anywhere, right? They're trying to tell the people that they can't protect themselves. They can't have arms, right? So once you do that, you've just committed maladministration. You've just committed treason and you've just committed war, and we got you on video, man, every time. So if you sign this executive order and you put it out, that's another example, what we would call evidence, right? That's another fact, right? Another fact to the claim that this public servant is committing war against the people, right? You can't do that, man. You know why? We're going to show you what's up. Okay, so here goes the city charter of Philadelphia, right? The city charter, right? And every public servant has an oath of office, right? And I'm just going to read this one for you right here, right? So we have your words, right? This is your contract, right? And then we have it with the city clerks, right? So all the city clerks have the contracts of our public servants, right? So if our public servants have ever sworn an oath to the Constitution to do their job, or be able to do the job of what the people have given them the ability to do, we got your contract, man. And this is what we say that you have to say, right? All persons elected or appointed to or employed in any city office shall, before entering upon the duties of their office or employment, take the following oath of office, right? So every public servant, right, has sworn these words, right? They say, I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth and the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter, and that I will discharge the duties of blank with fidelity, right? So we got them, right? It's so easy, right? It's so easy. So once our public servants go on the screen and start going blah, 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 executive order, blah, 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 we're going to take the guns away, blah, 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 no one should have them. Okay, you sworn an oath and a duty to the Constitution, right? And then we just showed you right here. Right here goes the text of Section 21 in Article 1 of the Pennsylvania Constitution. It says, right to bear arms, right? An arm. Those are things that fit in your hand. Boom, you can't mess with them, right? So the right of the citizens to bear arms in defense of themselves and the city shall not be questioned, right? Shall not be questioned, right? So you can't get up here and write something and say, oh, we're in a park, or it's a recreation, or we're in any type of public space, right? Every man, every woman can have an arm, right? We can have as many arms as we wish to have, right? And we can go wherever we want with our arms. done, right? So if you try to write an executive order, which is no law, right, that then tells your deputies that says that, okay, if any person comes into this building and they have a gun, take it from them, right? You can't do that. You know why? That's deprivation of rights under the color of law, man. We'll get you every time. You know why? Because you sworn an oath to support and defend and obey the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth and the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter, right? It's circular, man. We got you by your words, man. This is why we get contracts with you all the time, right? And if you deprive the people of their rights under the color of law, we're going to get you. We're going to put you in the corner and we're going to say, bad small master, you committed treason, you committed maladministration, you committed war. Now we have to correct you. Now we have to dress you down. Now we have to make sure that the city is being run correctly. You know why? Right here. Let me see. Because God said, let us make man in our image. And then God said, let them have dominion over all the earth, right? Part of that earth is the city of Philadelphia, right? Part of that earth would be any type of park or any type of recreation or any type of building within the earth, man. So all the people were free to protect ourselves with our arms in any place and anywhere at any time. Done. Okay, it's done. Okay, right? Remember this, right? See, when you said with fidelity, right? So we got you right here, right? Fidelity means to trust, right? So we have to trust that you were going to follow the rules that we, the people, wrote down for you. If you don't do that, we're going to get you for maladministration, man. I'm repeating myself because these words are simple, right? So every man, every woman, once you hear these words, you can go and you can correct your public servants, right? Because they have a responsibility to do what we tell them to do, right? You know why? The people are the boss, okay? So check this out. Hey, Cornell, what's up? Okay, so all of our public servants have a fiduciary duty, right? All of them, every last one of them, right? So if they've sworn an oath, that means that they're a fiduciary, right? This is what a fiduciary is, right? When someone has a fiduciary duty to someone else meaning we, the people, the person meaning the corporation or whatever entity that it is that I'm going to swear because I'm going to have a title to do whatever it is that you say that I'm going to do, right? You're a person now. So the person with the duty must act in the way that will benefit, that means make whole, make one, someone else. The someone else is meaning the people, right? Also called the beneficiary. Usually financially. It's not just financially. It's in any type of capacity, right? So if we've written down the rules and then the rules are within the Constitution and you've sworn to defend and support that Constitution, that's called the fiduciary duty, right? And if you try to deviate from that and try to call something else by committing war, treason, or maladministration, that means you're breaching the fiduciary, and we're going to get you every time for maladministration. Remember that, right? You got a duty of care. Remember that. You have a duty of care. It's really easy, right? The duty of care is a fiduciary duty requiring directors and or officers of a corporation to make decisions that pursue the corporation's interests with reasonable diligence and prudence, right? So the corporation that we're talking about is the United States of America. The corporation that we're talking about is Pennsylvania, right? So anywhere that there's a constitution, we've created a corporate entity that's full of persons. Those persons are called public servants, trustees, right? And then they have other names and titles and things like that. So if you've sworn an oath to a constitution, you have a duty of care, right? You have a fiduciary duty to make sure that the beneficiary, called we the people, are made whole and made happy, right? And if we're not happy, we're going to get you for maladministration every time, man. You have a duty of care. Simple, right? All right, so check this out. The business judgment rule, right? So if you got a lawyer going in your ear going, blah, 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 it's the best business judgment rule. And then they're telling you, yeah, we got to get rid of all the guns, right? Because the guns are causing harm to the public, right? And then all of our public servants go on the screen and say, we're going to sign an executive order and get rid of the guns because they're harming the public. You can't do that, man. You don't have that authority, right? So no court is going to protect you, because once you've sworn an oath to the Constitution, we got you, because we can have our arms anytime, any place, anywhere, right? So check this out, right? In suits alleging corporations' directors violated their duty of care to the company, right? Also called the states, right? Courts will evaluate the case based on the business judgment rule, right? Under this standard, a court will uphold the decisions of a director as long as they are made in good faith, right? So we're already showing you right there that you've breached the duty, you've breached the fiduciary duty, right? You don't have good faith, right? Because you are now causing maladministration, treason, or harm, because you are calling our arms guns, right? You are calling the people persons, right? So that's not good faith, man. That's not good faith. So we'll wipe you out just with that one right there every time. Stupid simple, right? I'm not even going to read the rest because I don't have to, because I'm showing you right now that you're not making good business judgment rules because you are breaching the trust of we the people by committing maladministration, treason, and war. Scary simple, right? All right, let's keep it going. Right, so this is the one that we like to use, right, is we like to use Title 18, U.S. Code, subsection 242, deprivation of rights under the color of law, right? So this is what it says right here. Whoever, that means any public servant, right? Any corporation, any municipal corporation, any business, that means whoever, right? Any teacher, any doctor, any lawyer, any entity that calls themselves a person is whoever. So whoever under color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities, right? So if you deprive us of anything that we've written in the Constitution, like taking away our arms or taking away the ability for us to have our property, we're going to get you for deprivation of rights under the color of law every time, right? And I'm going to show you something right here, right? So shall be fined under this title right here, right? So this is what we can do, right? We can fine you under this title, or imprison for any terms of years or for life, or both, or may be sentenced to death, right? So these are what we wrote, so we can, if you deprive us of any of our rights under the color of law, we're going to fine you. We're going to put you in a cage called a prison, right? Or we can say, bye-bye, you can't be here anymore. You have to go to death, right? We don't wish to do that because we wish to be in love. And that's why we try to show you through instructions every time, man. We keep it scary simple. Remember? Okay, let's show you another word, man. Cornell. Check this out, right? So this is Title 26, U.S. Code, subsection 7701, definitions, right? So whenever they try to mislabel the people, and they always try to call the people persons. We are the people. We are men and we are women. We are the people. We are the children of God. We are the people. We are free, right? We are free because that's what God said. Remember that? So whenever they try to call the people persons, right? Because a person is not the people, right? The people control persons. The people control all titles, right? So if you have a title, right, that means that people created something that we control, right? Because we are the creators of all titles. Remember that, okay? So here's one of the titles that we control as the people. Person. This is what the definition of person is. The term person, which means masks, right? The term person shall be construed to mean and include an individual, a trust, estate, partnership, association, company, or corporation, right? So persons are not people. Persons are not man. Persons are not women. Persons are not children, right? A person is a dead entity, also called a corporation. Done. Okay, so once you understand that, you're going to be free. So whenever one of our public servants tries to call us a person, we can get them for maladministration, we can get them for treason, we can get them for war, right? Every time. That's deprivation of rights under the color of law. So if they try to say that you cannot do something because they are in charge of your person, that's deprivation of rights under the color of law. And then we get them every time, man. It's stupid simple. Okay, let's keep it going. Right, so here's a Jotform. So this Jotform is going to be in the link in the description, right? Because the crew wrote this up, and it's stupid simple because we're showing the people to let their public servants know who's the boss. It's done. It's simple. So read these words right here, right? I'm just going to read this right here, this poster that Leanne hooked up. What's up, Leanne? You're always hooking up the word, right? So Leanne hooked this one up right here because it shows who's the power, who's the boss, right? Remember this, right? Congress has no authority to interfere in the people's inherent right to bear arms for their protection according to their condition, right? We just showed you, right? Here goes a maxim, fundamental principle of law, 9F. It is a liberty of free citizens to retain arms for their protection and according to their condition. Okay, done. Okay, here's another one. Public law, 90 TAC 618. Title 1, State Firearms Control Assistance, October 22, 1968. Purpose. Remember this. Here's the purpose, right? So Section 101, the Congress hereby declares that the purpose of this title is to provide support to federal, state, and local law enforcement officials in their fight against crime and violence. And it is not the purpose of this title to place any undue or unnecessary federal restrictions or burdens on law-abiding citizens with respect to acquisition, possession, or use of firearms appropriate to the purpose of hunting, trap shooting, target shooting, personal protection, or any other lawful activity, and that this title is not intended to discourage or eliminate the private ownership or use of firearms by law-abiding citizens for lawful purposes, or provide for the imposition by federal regulations of any procedures or requirements other than those reasonably necessary to implement and effectuate the provisions of this title. People v. Horton, 264 NYS 8488. Done. Okay. So this is the notice the notice and demand to cease and desist from attacking the people's right to protect themselves and states, right? So this is an example of a public servant trying to attack the people's rights, right? By signing an executive order, by banning guns, which are arms, from the parks and facilities, right? So we, the people, are free to go anywhere and everywhere that we wish, man, right? And if you think that you have authority over we, the people, right, you need to show us where we gave you that power. And I just showed you right here by the words that you don't have that ability, you don't have that power. And if you do this, that's called maladministration. If you do this, that's called treason. And if you do this, that's called war, right? So if any of our public servants, if any of our law enforcement people, if anybody working for any type of corporation tries to interfere with the people's ability to get their arms, we will get you for maladministration, we will get you for treason, we will get you for war, we will get you for deprivation of rights under the color of law. It's simple, man. I just showed you the words, okay? All right, so we're done. Let's go ahead and get our reps on. Hey, Psalms 82:6. Check this out. We love this one, right? I have said, yea are gods. Little g, right? So big G's telling little g who we are and what we are. And all of you are children of the Most High. Remember that, right? So every man, every woman, every child, we're all the same, man. We're all family because we all come from God. Remember that. We are all of God because God created man, right? God created woman. God created the children. God created this whole place for us to be in. And man, we have dominion over everything. We're all children of the Most High, which means that we're all family, man. One family, one people. One dream, one team, man. Scary simple, right? All right, let's keep it going. Let's get this one on. Hey, John 1:1, what's up, man? We love this rep right here because he keeps it scary simple. Remember? In the beginning was the Word, done. And the Word was with God, done. And the Word was God, done. Okay, so John 1:1 just showed you where everything comes from. It all comes from God, right? Word, God, God, Word, done. God created everything, done. God created man in the image of God, done. God gave man dominion over everything on earth, done, right? If any of our public servants, which the people created all of our constitutions, and all of our constitutions are where our public servants serve in, right? The people are the boss of you. We are the masters because we are the creators of you, right? We are the creators of all the titles, right? And if you try to interfere with any of our rights, of to being free, happy, safe, or property, we're going to get you for maladministration. We're going to get you for treason. We're going to get you for war. We're going to get you for deprivation of rights under the color of law. Every time. Done. Okay? So let's go ahead and close it out with our timeout. All right, so we're going to show you the order one more time. Remember, God created the world. Check. Remember, God created man, aka the people. Check. Remember, people created states. Check. Remember, people created constitutions. Check. Remember, people created governments. Check. Question. When did government become boss of the people? Answer. Never. The people are the bosses of everything. Done. We're done, man. So that's it, man. Just remember. And God said, let us make man in our image. This is a foundation, right? So whenever you want to know where you come from, whenever you want to know, like, who am I? What am I? What's my genealogy, right? I'm showing you your genealogy. God created man in the image of God. Done, right? You should be done right there. So if you want to go to Ancestry.com and you can look up your bloodline within the realm, right? But it's always going to trace you back to God, right? Everything's always going to go back to God, and it has to go back to love, right? So once you get back to God, you get back to the love, right? And once you know what love is, then you have a duty and an obligation, right? You know why? That's what Christ told us to do. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. Done, right? That's the first and the great commandment. Okay, got it, good. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself, right? And if you love the neighbor like you love yourself, and if you love God, right, then you're going to be cool, man. You're going to be free, right? Remember that. These two commandments hang all the laws. So all of the laws hang on these two commandments. Love, right? Love God, right? Love neighbor like you love yourself. And now you're going to be free, man. Thank you, Christ. We love you. All right, so that's it. Philly, we love you guys, man. So now you guys know what's up. So now if you've heard these words, you have a duty and an obligation to go out there and administer God's dominion, right? And you got to do it in love. Scary simple, okay? So we're going to go ahead. We're going to put this together. Then we're going to upload it. And then we're going to go have some fun. All right. Remember, nobody's having more fun than us. Bye.